So welcome everybody to the SFSS debates. Every year we elect 15 execs and faculty reps to represent you, the student, at both the university level and also to external organizations. And today's debates will last about between 2 to 3 hours out of respect for the student body who don't want to take too much time. We're going to have 14 rounds, each round representing each position available. And we're going to ask each candidate to submit an opening statement, answer some questions, and also a closing statement. Candidates will answer the questions in a concise manner out of respect to you, the audience members, but we also ask that audience members please ask questions that apply to both candidates. So we're going to start now with at-large reps. At-large reps, please make your way up to the front.
Thank you all for being here today. My name is Muhammad Ali, and I'm a fifth-year international student. I'm the current Presidential Association President. I hope that in the at-large representative position, with my previous 4 years of experience in student engagement, to create a more connected campus community between SFU students, residents, the clan family, and the Fraser International College. I will focus on raising awareness about the Kinder Morgan tank expansion project, involve council representative in more initiatives to address current student needs, advocates for the needs-based grant program and the gondola, and push for the addition of FSC students to join the SFSS membership. Thank you.
Good morning, thank you for coming today. My name is Arman Hossein. I'm a third-year student in the Faculty of Biomedical Physiology, and I'm running for the at-large position. My platform focuses on helping students improve their academic performance first and foremost. For that reason, my three main points include advocating for percentages on transcripts, so students have an easier time getting into professional school, graduate school, and any kind of post-grad work at UBC and other universities in Canada. Advocate for more time between the last day class and the first day final exams period, so students have ample time to study for final exams. And lastly, to advocate for fall reading break. Students that have to get heavier course load in the fall semester, and now giving them the opportunity to catch up on work. So that's my platform. Thank you.
Hello everyone, thank you for coming here today. I'm Ola, a member of the Inspire SFU team. I'm running as an ex-at-large representative. I'm a third year psychology and education student. I'm a psych major, education minor. My platform focuses on making campus facilities convenient to students and allowing accessibility and also improving engagement of students. The major highlight of my platform is I want to introduce the classroom directory, also create more hands-on learning opportunities, then 3 excellent library local at Vancouver and Sydney campuses. Then lastly, I want to promote FSC, DSC and SFSS college engagement. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Alex Greboy. I'm a first-year student studying computer science. I'm one of Inspire SFU's candidates for the at-large representative role in the SFSS. Here at SFU, it is too often that I hear from students like you and I that the social aspect of this university is very lackluster. This school on a large scale is known as a work-centered school of British Columbia. I want to change that. I want to push the curve. I want to help people make friendships and relationships that last a lifetime. I'm working with a team that collectively shares this vision with me. Thank you, and remember to go inspire us again.
Hello everyone, I'm David Evans. I'm a fourth-year physics major here at SFU, running as an independent for at-large representative. I'm running for this position because I want to represent you guys, the students, look after all of your needs, which I feel is the goal of this position, to look after the student body at large. To this end, my platform includes improving mental health resources here on campus. I've heard a lot of stories from people who have testified that these resources just aren't good enough for the needs that they have here. In addition to that, I also want to advocate for a fall reading break. The fall semester is a very stressful semester, especially around the mid-semester mark. I think a reading break during that time, similar to the reading break we have in the spring semester here, is very strong, helping people take some load off the courses. In addition, I also want to try and improve events here at SFU, get some more events going, as well as advocate for open or more affordable textbooks so that everybody can afford to study here. Thank you guys for coming out, and look forward to this debate.
All right, I'd like to reiterate to the next rounds that please keep your opening statements to 30 seconds. I greatly appreciate it. So we're not going to take audience questions. If there are any questions for these at-large candidates, go ahead.
Hi everyone, thanks for running. The at-large role is very wide-ranging. We work on a lot of different projects throughout the year, interact with a lot of different groups. Hear me okay? Okay. So what do you think the relationship should be between the board and council?
We'll start with the person closest to me.
Thank you for the question. I believe that the relationship between council and board should be a relationship where council can easily communicate with board what their DCUs and FCUs are having, what issues are being discussed in those council meetings, making sure there's a liaison between the board and council, that they're every single council meeting, that actually makes a good training program for councils to know what issues they can bring up and how they can bring those issues to board and what action can the board actually take regarding those issues, not just hearing about those issues, but actually coming back with a report about the issue that they have actually discussed at the board meeting and they have actually looked through what solutions can be made. Thank you.
Thank you, great question. I'd like to double what Mohammed said and say that I believe that the council is important in forming policies that are made by the board of directors, and that the council is imperative to providing supplementary research.
And also, I would like to stress the importance of how council and the board facilitates different policies to better student services in general. So I feel like it's paramount to every board member, regardless of if you are a faculty rep or you are an exec rep, to cooperate in promoting the council and the activities of it. Thank you.
The relationship between the board and the council should be just one thing, mutualistic. They should benefit off of each other, they have to work together, and having a synergy between those two groups is very, very important.
I feel that the role between the board and council is to provide a liaison between the board of directors and the rest of the student body through DSUs and through FSUs and through the rest of the campus, and to allow the council to critique the board and to allow the board to hear a variety of opinions on their decisions and to generally improve communication between the university.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Can we take one more question for these at-large rep candidates? No? Some more questions? No? All right, we'll take questions that have been emailed to us. Oh, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Mo. So one of the things that I think is really great that the Science Fair Zion Prince Student Society has been doing is they've been contributing a percentage of their budget towards the food bank. Would you be willing to actually advocate to actually increase that contribution as at-large representatives? Thank you.
Sorry, just to rephrase that. Do you mean by we increasing the contribution or just advocating for it?
Both.
Okay.
Thank you, Mo, for your question. As an at-large rep, I think a good option would be having a percent from revenue from events allocated to be going toward the food bank, because that will just allow more money that actually goes to food bank instead of actually allocating a specific amount to go, but a percent, let's say 5 or 10% of my revenue would go towards the food bank, and so on from different events that SFSS have that actually collect revenue from it. Thank you.
Great question. I agree with Mo in saying that there should be a percentage of revenues that's given as contribution to food banks. But I also think that the SFSS exists to serve the interests of SFU students, and to represent the interests of SFU students. By upping food bank contributions by several thousands of dollars, not only would we not really put a dent in hunger in the lower mainland, but this is money that could be used to improve the situation of students on campus. So we need to be mindful of that.
For me, one major way that we can generate revenue is to increase number of events we have on campus. So we sort of generate more revenue by selling tickets and also trying to get more people to be involved. So that's one particular way of addressing that. Another one is to have more liaison with other external bodies so we can sort of enhance how the events are run and stuff. Thank you.
Yes, this question is actually one of my points on my platform, and I specifically address this topic. Currently, the budget for the food bank is around $17,000, and that's what we give to them every year. I want to bring that up to $20,000 just because it really hits hard at home for me. I'm not going to get into specifics, but I do have humble beginnings. Going off of what Ola said, bringing up the amount of events is important, and another part of my platform is that I want to diversify the types of events that we have. I want to make more revenue with events, and being able to give 5 to 10% of those events that we make, given that there is a surplus, is going to be imperative towards that.
I definitely agree with the previous points made. I think we should increase the number of events hosted here and increase the diversity of them. I think a large portion of the revenue of that can go towards food banks, as well as just allocating more money out of the budget to it. I think if we're going to serve SFU as a student base and their needs, I think increasing the food bank access to the entire lower mainland, as well as all the students here at SFU, is of paramount importance.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. And we have one more audience questions before we end this round of closing statements. Questions? All right, we'll move on to emailed questions.
So if you can change one thing with the way the current sport operates, what would it be?
Could you please repeat that?
If you can change one thing the way that the current board operates, what would it be?
I believe that one thing that should be changed in the board of governors at this moment is more openness to their meetings and more willing to actually have students access to the agenda pre-hand, not just counselors or actual board members, but the whole student population to actually see the agenda that will be discussed pre-hand in the meeting.
Good question. I think continuity is a big issue. I think that since we only serve one-year terms, it's very important that we build on initiatives that are already brought up to the board of directors so that we can make these initiatives actionable. Second, I'd like to say that I think it's important to do a lot of independent research as a member of the board. Come up with new initiatives, constantly be in communication with the student body, representing their interests, truly representing their interests. I think those are the two most important things. And right now, besides the hiking to
I want to start off by giving like a thumbs up to the current board members because they've done a wonderful job so far. One area that can be improved for me is outreach to different bodies of students and like trying to get those needs, like the small needs of students that aren't like extroverted, like they are not really outgoing. So by doing that, we capture a larger crowd and we sort of like get more people to come for events and more people to be involved in the running of the student society. Thank you.
So the things that I want to see change in the board are the two overlying things that my platform stands for. And that is honesty and transparency. I want to see that a board is transparent with the students in ways that the students know exactly what's going on. The students know what the SFSS is doing, and furthermore, the students know what the SFSS is. It's really important. It's a huge part of the school. People just don't know about it. So, in terms of that, I want to see that change. Another change that I want to see is having an overall interconnected board. I feel like in past years, since a lot of candidates have been from different slates and whatnot, there has been a little bit of divisiveness, but I want to be able to work on conflict resolution and making sure that we all are doing things for one purpose and one purpose only, and that is to serve the students. Thank you.
I think if I was to change something about the board, I would definitely want to see the SFSS inner workings and the board of directors be more transparent overall, and to be able to communicate to the students just what the SFSS does, what the SFSS is, and how they can really reach out and help the student body at large, as well as let them know what the SFSS is currently working on, what they're planning for, and what they ultimately want to do to help out the student body, and let them have an opinion on that.
All right, gentlemen, so feel free to start your closing statements.
Again, my name is Muhammad Ali, and I'm running this election with a team of dedicated members, individuals who all want to change, empower, and unify SFU. Remember to vote Shift SFU because we give a damn.
As a member of Shift SFU, I can agree with Mohammed. But I'd also like to say that, like I said, my platform above all else is dedicated to helping students improve their academic performance. I believe the SFSS main goal should not be saving a few dollars on catered food or making promises for needs-based grants and to end world hunger. I believe that the SFSS exists to help students get to where they're going. And should I be elected, I've got to help every single student get the academic prospects and opportunities they deserve. Thank you.
Just to wrap it up, Ola, once again, I'm running this election with a team of dedicated individuals, Inspire SFU. So we're a group of dedicated individuals that have similar vision and goals set aside to help the student society in order to achieve the goals and mission. So I want to urge you all to make an informed decision when the voting polls are open, then be sure to check out our platform. Thank you.
Again, my name is Alex Greboy, and I believe that going through this with an open mind is the only way to do it. Vote Inspire SFU.
Once again, my name is David Evans. I believe that as an at-large representative, my goal is to represent you. I'm not running as part of any slate, I'm running as an independent. I'm doing that in the name of you guys, the people of SFU. So I believe if we would do this together, anything's possible. Thank you.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. If we can have the business representative candidates make their way up to the platform. Business reps.
Thanks very much, guys.
All right, once again, we're going to start opening statements. Closest to me.
Okay, how's it going, everybody? running to be your next business representative. And my vision is simple. I just want to build a community up here at SFU that's accepting, that's empowering, and it's not ashamed to lift other people up. That's pretty much it. Thank you much.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Justin Yoon, and I'm a third-year BD student. I'm running for business rep on the Inspire team. In my past 3 years at SFU, I've been extremely involved in the community, being part of JC West, Enactus, and Young Women in Business. Through these involvements, I was able to enhance and hone many of my skills and build meaningful connections. Furthermore, I gained valuable insight on the disconnect between SFSS and the students. My main goal is to eradicate this disconnect and make SFU no longer seen as a commuter school. Thank you.
Now start with audience questions. Any audience questions for the faculty of business reps?
Good to see you again.
Thanks, glad I'm here. One of the questions something that I hold very true to myself is transparency and honesty. Something that I'd like to see is an increased tradition of transparency and honesty from the Simon Fraser Student Society. So would either of you be willing to actually make this one of your goals and actually pursue it? And is this something that SFU students can actually be sure of, that they'll be getting this from their board of directors?
Guessing I'm going first. Okay, and yeah, absolutely. I didn't get your name, but absolutely that's going to be one of my goals, and it already is on my platform actually. Transparency to me is a really important issue, having dealt with real world politics outside of school and outside of the community. It's definitely something that I hold myself accountable to. In the past, it's been a problem with business representative. There's been a disconnect definitely within business faculty and with the SFSS. Business representative doesn't feel that it's important to show up to club meetings or the executive meetings, because that's where I think most of the groundwork actually happens. And it's really important to be present at those meetings and be transparent and be able to convey the message that SFSS is trying to deliver. Yeah.
Thank you, Mo, for that question. So with the transparent honesty, I think there's two parts to this. So it is actually a goal of Inspire at SFU to have a better and transparent SFSS, and I think that could be definitely something that we will work for. And I also think transparency comes down to communication. So I know a lot of people, when I talk to them, they have no idea what SFSS actually does or where they can get information about everything. So I think if we were able to communicate better, which is a part of my platform, we can be able to improve the transparency through that way. Thank you, Mo, for that question.
All right, thank you, you two. Are there any more audience questions? Go ahead.
Hi guys, my name is Matt. One question I have for you guys is Ronick mentioned that in making an effort to improve the curve for 200 level courses. So I was just wondering how you're going to do that and how I'm just about to put that on your platform.
It's a really directed question. Yeah, so this is definitely my platform, but I never said that I'm actually going to improve the course curves. What I actually mentioned is that I'm going to work on advocating for an improvement, because to be honest, it's directly not within the SFSS jurisdiction to actually work on this. But I've been talking to people and I've been getting this response, so I do have a responsibility to the people that I talk to bring this issue up to me. So what I'm going to advocate for is that especially for the 200 level business courses, there must be a standard set for a specific amount of courses for having like a strong or a fixed 200 level curve. This is definitely not applicable to every single course, but it's definitely something that we can work on.
Thanks, Matt, for your question. So it is something that I did not put on my platform, but definitely something I can work on. Many students do have a problem with the 200 level curves as it is to a C+, and it does affect their transcripts and their GPA, and I know it's a huge factor as I am a business student and I've noticed it, and I know it's something that we can work on. It's not something that SFSS can directly do as a board of directors, but we can work on with Senate about that, and it's definitely something I will be advocating as well. Ron said here.
I'm glad we agree on something.
All right, one more question? Go ahead.
So one of the concerns that we hear from students is that rule bookings are very difficult for them, so they have a lot of problems with the rule booking system. So my question is, have you seen those concerns? What will you do about them, or how will you do them?
Yeah, so I've been talking to a lot of club executives over this campaign. I've talked to a lot of club members, and me being someone who also runs a club themselves, I've definitely experienced this issue firsthand. And this is something definitely that we have to work upon. And I have the understanding that this issue is already being addressed by the SFSS as it is. But SFSS actually ends up acting as a middleman within the clubs and SFU. So there happens to be that disconnect and that bureaucracy. So that's definitely something that we can work upon, and I'll be looking into it more in depth.
Yeah, I think Ron touched on a lot of the points, but I know they are changing the portal system, but I know there hasn't been any affirmative changes with the room booking system right now. It is a huge problem. It's something I'm truly passionate about. If you've ever talked to me on campus or something, I have a lot to say about this. I think talking to Hanku Kim about this, the current SFSS president, we were able to figure out like a way that we could implement a better system to do it. So it would be basically a 3-tier system with a low risk room booking, a medium risk, and a high risk room booking. And the low risk would be something such as like just a meeting room that you would need on a weekly or monthly basis, and that would be approved right away and streamlined right through MEX, so that it doesn't have to go through SFSS and create all that unnecessary kind of work and hassle. And then high risk events could be something where a lot of people go to and would need to have done and go through a little bit more of a system so that it's not directly put through that way. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you. If you can start with your closing statements.
Yes, so once again, people, thank you for your questions. I'll be sticking around if you have any more questions that you want to ask me around in detail. Like I said, my vision is simple. I'm not standing up here promising rainbows and butterflies. What I bring in is an in-depth experience that I'll be advocating for, especially on behalf of students that I've talked to so far. And look forward to continue the work that my team at SFU is doing right now. Thank you very much.
So yeah, I want to thank everyone for coming out and listening. I just also want to remind everyone that voting starts March 20th to the 22nd. And if you want someone with experience, has built strong relationships with the beauty community, and is truly passionate about changing, especially the room booking system, then I, Jessica Nguyen, would be the right business candidate for you. Thank you again.
If the Faculty of Education reps can make their way up to the front. Education candidates. And if the individual closest to me can start with their opening statements.
My name is Layla Amazande, and I'm a 4th year PGS student in the Faculty of Education. I am running to become the Faculty of Education representative on the Board of Directors.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Cameron Akatsu, and I'm running to be your education representative with a team of dedicated individuals, Inspire SFU. This year, I become quite involved in the Faculty of Education, being the ESA president, the ESA representative on the SFSS Council, as well as a peer mentor. I've also been able to work quite closely with Jamie, who is our current SFSS education representative, and I hope to continue building the foundation of the community of the Faculty of Education that she's already laid the foundation for. Thank you.
If we can have audience questions now? Any audience questions? Go ahead.
Hi guys. So mental wellness is something that's really important to me, and I've been working on it. How do you guys improve on planning? How do you improve students' mental health and wellness at SFU?
I recognize that the mental well-being of students is incredibly important. Therefore, I intend to advocate for initiatives that benefit mental health, such as study break events and puppy therapy. I also think that these events are incredibly important because it helps students refocus and concentrate on what they have to do next. And it's not just about the event, it's about how we can promote these events and allow all education students to partake in them.
First of all, thank you, Tara, for that question. So one of my minors in the Faculty of Education is Learning and Developmental Disabilities, and I've had the pleasure of working with many students from elementary schools who do not have some of the opportunities that we do in terms of health and well-being. So working with the SFSS, I know that there are many initiatives that are being already implemented, such as I know Arushi from Health Sciences is already having some mental health workshops, and I just want to continue working on those kind of initiatives to ensure that every student has their voice heard and is advocated for, which is why I would join the advocacy and accessibility committees on the SFSS if I were to be elected. Thank you so much.
Any more questions? Go ahead.
Hello. I would really like to ask about your position outside of the Faculty of Education as a general board member. What is one thing that both of you guys would advocate for outside of the Faculty of Education? Thank you.
I think outside of education, I would advocate for accessibility. I've been working, well, I haven't been working with them yet, but I believe that Steps Forward is a great program that allows students of all faculties to partake in academic studies, experience what it's like to join social events with the rest of their members in their faculty. So yes, I believe that accessibility is incredibly important, and that's what I would focus on outside of the faculty.
Thank you, Jamie, for that question. Also, so just reiterating what I said in the first question, accessibility as well with mental health, but also many might not know, but the Faculty of Education, we have to apply to a fifth-year program called PDP, but not just education, people in the Faculty of Education can apply. Any student that wants to be a teacher that has a major or minor in a teachable subject is able to apply for PDP, but right now what I want to do is I want to outreach to students of all different faculties, all different backgrounds to ensure that they understand the process of becoming a teacher and going to PDP to ensure that their process of becoming a teacher is the easiest and most smooth running time that they will have after they graduate from their undergraduate. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more audience questions? Take one more. Go ahead.
Hi guys. This is a fairly general question. So with regards to your experience, what can you point to in terms of your previous experience that would actually help contribute positively to your impact as Faculty of Education representatives? Thank you.
Well, right now I'm one of the mentors for the Faculty of Education Peer Mentorship Program, and I believe we help first-year students with their transition to university and academia. I was also an SFU welcome leader in the summer, or in the fall, and I'm currently an SLC Writing and Learning Peer Educator, and I'm also a member of the Education Student Association.
So this year has been a really optimal opportunity for me because I've been able to become involved in so many different opportunities. So one of the major things that I've been able to accomplish is I've become the president of the Education Student Association. We are here to advocate for the education students, run events to ensure that each of their time is optimal. I'm the SFSS Council representative for the ESA, and where we advocate for education students, and we appeal to the Board of Directors to ensure that all of education is cared for. I'm a student representative in the Faculty of Education Undergraduates Committee, as well as also a peer mentor, along with Layla. And I've been able to come quite close with many education students to ensure that they know what's happening at SFU, they know what they want to do, and I'm there to ease them and take every step of the way alongside them. Thank you.
Thank you. You can close with your closing statements.
So I believe that I would be an invaluable member to the Board of Directors as the Education Representative. Ultimately, being the Faculty of Education Representative reflects my aspiration in becoming a teacher who helps and supports students by listening, being empathetic and understanding, and voicing their needs to ensure that they receive an education that is not only based on learning, but rather the meaning behind it.
I first want to say thank you for everyone that's come on today. It's amazing to see the amount of engagement that's already happening. There's a lot of things I'm thankful for in this opportunity. First of all, just for the opportunity to run as the education representative. Also to run the group of Inspire SFU. Without any of you, I would not be sitting here today. Thirdly, Jamie, without you, I would also not be sitting here today. You inspire me so much. I'm proud of the work that I've done this semester, and I'm just excited to continue the work that I've already been doing on if I were to be elected as a board. My name is Karen, and I'm running to be your education representative. Thank you.
Candidates for the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences round, make their way up. Arts and Social Sciences.
If you guys have read my platform, you guys probably know what I stand for, but I wanted to share a little bit about why I'm running, because not many of you know that. So the main reason why I actually decided to run for this position is every semester when we got our fee statement, I read this undergraduate services fee, which we pay for, but I wasn't quite sure what we were paying for, what services are we paying for, and what are we getting in return. Soon later on, I realized that the services that we're paying for are actually really great. Salmon Christian Society provides us with services like safe spaces like the Out on Campus and Women's Center, study spaces like the Rotunda and the Meg Evenson Center, and most excitingly, the new student union that is being launched during the fall. So I was really inspired by this work, and I decided to take a more proactive role to build on these great services offered. And I really wanted to make SFU a more engaged university so that students have a better experience, and when they walk out of this university, they are empowered and valued. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone, my name is Mehak Kalra. I just got elected for my Student Center for Fast Faculty. There are some things which I want to share with you of my platform, is that increasing student engagement within the clubs and DSUs, and supporting the FAST mentorship program, advocating through their enrollment in the required courses of FAST, and the fourth more thing which I like the most is that supporting students' idea of arts and social sciences with their initiatives. Thank you so much. I will look forward for your questions.
Hi everyone, my name is Kaylin Ng, and I'm running. I'm a second-year student pursuing a degree in psychology with forensic certification. I'm running to serve as your 2018 to 2019 Faculty of Arts and Social Science representative, along with the Inspire SFU team on the Board of Directors in the Simon Fraser Student Society. My involvement in the SFSS Advocacy Committee has prepared me well to inspire positive movements within the university by acting upon the best interests of all students while supporting and assisting clubs and students unions related to arts and social sciences. Thank you.
If we can take audience questions now.
it's me again. Something that I think is a really big issue on campus is mental health. There are many, many students at the school that are struggling with mental health issues. There's a terrible backlog in terms of people actually being able to access mental health resources on campus. So would you guys be willing to advocate for more mental health resources? And what would you plan on doing to actually alleviate some of the stress associated with this problem that we have on campus? Thank you.
Thank you so much for that question. I don't know if you guys got a chance to read the latest magazine by The Peak. One of the questions I was asked, I was actually happy to answer, and it was about mental health. I did explain in the magazine that SFU really has a long wait line for those students who need access to mental health. Sometimes it's as long as a month. I was advocating for an early on approach for students to have other measures to have access to better mental health services. So I advocated for more, let's say, exercises or meditation services, more outdoor activities, having more animal therapy, and all these I feel would be great measures to help students while they are waiting for an appointment, while they're waiting for bigger services. So I feel like these would be great services to help students while they're waiting for these. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mo, for this question. I think Ali have touched a lot of things on that. But I was looking forward to bringing more events in GSU and CLUB so that we can have mental health events where people can come here and share their points, what they want to do. Like if they're having some problem, where we can bring the mentors of these mental health so that they can be advocated easily. Thank you.
Thank you, Mo, for your question. So mental health is a huge stigma, and I believe that we need more campaigns, and I would like to advocate on behalf of the Senate to work for a mental health office. I know that we just opened a sexual health office, and I feel like a space for people to de-stress and people to gain knowledge about self-help would definitely be beneficial, as well as a drop-in counseling. Thank you.
Great, thanks. Any more questions?
Hi. So you guys mentioned engagement in local clubs and student unions, and that's very important as faculty representatives, so good on that. Out of the 25,000 undergraduate students at SFU, 10,000 of them are from arts and social sciences. So how do you plan as one person with limited time and resources to engage with all of these people? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. So I think a great approach would be encouraging more collaboration between faculties and between department student unions. So I can understand as one person it would be really difficult to be everywhere. But if we empower department student unions and we allow them to collaborate with each other, this will automatically enhance and promote interfaculty and interdepartment communication, and it will increase turnout and empower the students.
Thank you for your question. Actually, I was looking forward to making a bridge between these faculty of arts and social sciences and society and we have SFSS, and collaborating with them and making executives of helping me out with that so that I can collaborate with the whole community of that. Thank you.
Thank you for your question, Jeffrey. I would collaborate and communicate with the DSUs in my faculty, and I will show up to all the meetings and just to check up on them, go to the events, and make sure that all their resources and needs and wants are advocated for, and I will just support them in any way I can. Thank you.
Thanks. And we'll take one more question.
Hi, I'm Melvin. What are the experiences you had that you think would prove beneficial for the position and your cause? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. For the past 7 years of my life, even before I came to Canada, I was like that is a great experience. After I moved to Malaysia, where I lived for a year, I served in the local school magazine, so something like The Peak that we have here at SFU. I served as the editor-in-chief. After I moved to Canada, I was involved in NGOs, political parties, both at the federal and provincial level, and I currently serve in the Political Science Student Union, so I'm confident that all these experiences will be a great asset for me, and I have a lot to offer to the Simon Fraser Student Society as your faculty representative.
So I was also involved in the high school. I was a vice president in my high school for first year and second year. I was a president for this, so I was involved in the election before. And from here, I have involved in many of the clubs like T50, which works for the sustainability of environment, and I have been involved in the many cultural clubs like ISF and Pakistan Student Association, the Bangladesh Student Association. I have done a lot of volunteer work with them, so I think this helped me a lot in working over here. Thank you.
So in the advocacy committee, I advocated in numerous initiatives such as the Trans League and UPass referendum campaign, needs-based grants campaign, and the It Takes All of Us against sexual violence campaign. And I was also the co-president of the Musician Impact Network Society, and that experience has taught me to give back to the community, and it also has inspired me to give back to SFU, and the advocacy committee experience has taught me to advocate and take in everyone's requests and make the school a better place.
Closing statements.
All right. So, my friends, we only get to experience this undergraduate student life once, and I am committed to making sure that this experience of ours is valuable and memorable, so that when we graduate from this university, we know that we have the necessary experience, we are empowered, and we have what it takes to take on the next challenges in our life. I'm committed to being a strong voice for you, and I make that pledge to you here today. If elected, I will represent you, and I will be a strong voice. My name is Ali Bersi once again. Just to remind you, voting commences on March 20th up to 22nd. Thank you so much, and I look forward to your support.
Hi again, my name is and thank you so much for your questions and feedback. And I will work with the three pillars of SHIFT SFU, that is empower, unify, and change. Thank you so much.
I would like to thank the students for the questions. Lastly, I humbly ask for your support during the upcoming election so I can represent you in your best interest on the board of directors. My name is Kaylin Ng, and I have decided to run for Arts and Social Science representative alongside hardworking individuals of Inspire SFU. Vote for honesty and transparency. Vote for Inspire SFU.
Alright, thank you, candidates. If we can move on to the candidates for Faculty of Science. Science reps. Alright, Natasha, you can start with your statement.
So first of all, I'm so excited to see that not only are the seats filled, but there is an overflow of students showing up today. I hope you'll excuse the occasional teeth chattering. It's a lot colder than the sun looks. My name is Natasha Brady. I'm running for Science Representative with SHIFT SFU. I intend on working with the Science Student Unions to further the incredible success they've had this year with student engagement and recruitment. By getting students involved earlier in their degree, we can effectively build a community and network of undergrads, graduates, TAs, and professors that will extend long after the end of their degree.
Right, thanks, Natasha. And just a reminder to the audience, we do have another science rep candidate, that's your point student, who will be here today. And if we can take audience questions now, audience questions for Faculty of Science. Go ahead.
Hi, so this year, with the wonderful work of
been involved with departmental student unions for the past 5 years, I know what needs are urgently required. My involvement with the Science Undergraduate Society gives me that step into the SFSS and gives me the experience and the connections to make the changes we want to see. We're not looking to alter DSUs, but rather change the connections between DSUs and the SFSS. My name is Natasha Brady. I'm running with the amazing Shift SFU, and I can't wait to see what the science has in store.
Faculty of Applied Science from Campus make their way to the platform. Applied Sciences.
Hi, my name is Cameron Salahi. I'm a third-year computing science major. I was executive of the Computing Science Student Union for over a year. During my tenure, I worked with all 4 DSUs, 2 women groups, and multiple faculty staff. I've also been your council chair for the past 2 semesters. The main points I want to work on, if elected as your fast track, is I want to try and get more space for STARI students, specifically mechatronics and SOCI. I also want to increase the transparency of the board and run more large-scale events, as well as just fostering the FAST community and making sure the DSUs and the groups come together and start working and connecting with each other.
Thank you, Kia. Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming today. I'm Fuli, a third-year student in applied science. I'm running with Inspire SFU to be your next faculty rep. My past experience, including volunteer and work with Faculty Students Union, ex-president of Strategy Club, she talks, networking events, program volunteer in Cambodia. I have the drive and passion to use my skills and knowledge to represent your voice. My main focus will be supporting academic support, faculty engagement, and help individuals to achieve their potential. Thank you.
And we would like to take audience questions now. Audience questions for Applied Science.
Hi guys, current Applied Sciences representative here. So as both of you know, over the past 5 years we've been trying to establish a Applied Sciences Faculty Student Union. And every single year, the faculty rep says, I'm going to establish it. And every year, we fail to establish it. So do you plan to establish a Faculty Student Union this year? And if so, what are your plans to do so?
Having been to most of the Faculty of Applied Science Unions, FASU meetings during the past few years, one common thing we've noticed is that there's no possible way that we can get the SUs to come together. We've approached it from multiple different angles, and we've tried multiple different ways. And as Jeffrey said, every year we attempt, and every year we fail. I think some of the experience that I have allows me to recognize where these failings come from, and recognize that if a system is broken, instead of trying to find a futile way to fix it, we can move on and find other ways to connect the faculty and work together. For example, over this past year, we've been having faculty meetings where we get all 4 DSUs and the 2 women groups to come together and talk about the events we're going to have and collaborate with each other. I want to work with Angelica and the other faculty staff to make sure we keep doing that stuff, rather than spending the first few semesters of my time as a fast rep trying to create a broken system that in the end will not get passed.
Thanks, Jeffrey. That's a great concern of mine too. I have heard about we have 4 students union right now, and each of them work pretty independently. We have Fast Formal, which is a common event to bring this 4 students union together to work toward a common goal. It's not in my platform, but it's my major concern. I will try to engagement and connectivity between different students' union. I am aiming to work on to create one faculty students' union. By doing this, I will delegate students' leadership role, such as director of finance, events, and internal relationship. Encourage applied science students to actively take the leadership role in the students' union. By doing this way, I hope to connect all the 4 students union and all the faculty representatives with us and give
So this question is from a really involved Surrey Applied Sciences student. It's about the needs of space for mechatronics and software systems. Mechatronics just. So how will you continue with the fight for space for engineering students in Surrey? And what means or methods do you plan on using?
So I talked a little about this during the Surrey debate, and I brought up the fact that I think space for mechatronics students is very important. The reasoning being that they need to solder, and soldering isn't a job you can just do at home. It's not a job that you can just do on a couch or somewhere. It's something that you need space provided to you, and it's something that you need to be able to pass your courses and actually move towards your graduation. So I think what we need to do as a student society is that we need to start prioritizing these groups of people that need the space for their student programs and need the space to graduate over groups that simply need space for extracurricular activities. I also think that we need to move forward and look at different places for this space. So far, we're just communicating with SFU. There's other groups and there's other student unions that have plenty of space on campus, such as IAD and a few of the Surrey-based student departments. So I think we can work out some agreements with them to try and make something that allows us to lend space together. Or we can work with security or SFU to try and make sure that we get some of the rooms to have proper air vents now so they can be used for soldering, specifically for mechatronics. Thank you.
Thank you, Kia, and thank you, Jeffrey. As I have a sit-down meeting with several students, and mechatronics students have 750 students who need the space in Surrey. Even I'm not having a touch on platform, but I will definitely take this as a major concern about how to increase the study space. But I have good news for everyone. So in Surrey campus, we have more study space in the library second floor for all students. As the board of directors, if I get elected, I will sit down with other directors and to try to communicate and make a plan to how to allocate the space to all the students need, and also focus on our faculty students need for service space. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm also a past applied science rep. We have 4 student unions and multiple clubs split between Surrey and Burnaby. It's a lot of work if you really want to do your job well. So how are you going to handle this for courses and stuff?
Thank you, Corbett. While Jeffrey was our fast rep for the past year, I spent a lot of time with him visiting meetings for the different DSUs. So I went to meetings for one in engineering, one in computing science, mechatronics, software systems, and computing science and engineering. I met all the presidents, David, Junho, Rafayat, and Shane, and I talked to them all. I also went and attended their various events, such as the polar plunge, the puck crawl. I've worked with these people for the past year. I've connected with them. I've done multiple faculty-wide events with them, such as the events we did for frogs, such as the fast dodgeball. So I've already been doing a lot of work. I've already been handling a lot of coursework. All this means is now I stand in a better position to help them with the problems that I've seen and problems that I realize they have. So how am I going to handle the workload? Well, I've been handling a great deal of it already. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue pushing forward, and I'm also going to take a little bit more of a break on my courses, try and take 2 or 3 instead of 4, so I can focus more time and put in even more effort.
So I maybe hasn't been that involved as Kia as before, but I did have volunteer events with applied science and also with swimming and engineering in the past, and also science outreach. But I have been closely connected with SFSS as I was the president of Strategy Leader Club, and how to manage club and how to manage the stress and pressure of your schoolwork or study and life. And if I get elected, I may focus, well, this summer I only take 2 courses, and I will go to every faculty department students meeting to make sure we're building that connection and trust between us with the students union and getting to know them more. In actual, I will encourage everyone to take leadership role. As I said before, I will focus on create one students union, and
name is Kia. I hope you vote. I think this really comes down to experience and who knows the workings and who's more connected. I'm independent, vote Kia. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for coming. I will end my speech in 3 words: support, engagement, and inspire. I hope we'll have your support for Inspire SFU. Thank you.
And if the candidates for the Faculty of Communication, Art and Technology, and also that of the Faculty of Environment, make their way up to the front. So just so the audience knows, both of these candidates are running for their positions unchallenged. All right, we'll start with FCAT.
Hi everyone, my name is Rita Mohar and I'm running for your next FCAT rep for the SFSS June elections. In my past experience, I've been involved with working with the Communication Student Union and Young Women Business in event planning. And from this, I've learned the value of providing young individuals with resources to expand their resume and network. With that being said, this has inspired my platform to be about 2 things: innovation and teamwork, which I hold in high regard. Thank you.
All right, environment.
Hello, everybody. I'm Russell Dunsford, the running environment rep this semester. I'm aware that I run unopposed in this election, but despite this, I still take the position and the campaign very seriously. I've been involved with BESU, a student union in the Faculty of Environment, since I arrived at SFU, and I believe I've reached about the cap of what I can do from that position. I've seen many areas that could be improved upon within the faculty, and I've already taken steps to understand the needs of student unions and students alike. I've already been to a faculty meeting of every student union within the department, and I plan to continue to attend multiple meetings from multiple DSUs throughout the semester and the year ahead. This faculty may not have numbers, but that doesn't matter. We can have just as big a say, and I encourage you to join me so that we can bring the faculty together. And then we can inspire SFU.
All right, thank you. And if we can take audience questions for either positions, either FCAT or environment. Audience questions.
This is for communications, art, technology. So, as faculty rep of communications, art, technology, you are responsible for departments on 3 separate campuses, here, Surrey, and Vancouver. How do you plan to split your time? How do you plan to manage the fact that each campus has different priorities? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Yes, I am aware that with the FCAT faculty, we are on 3 different campuses, and lucky for me, I have classes on all 3 campuses, so I'm aware of the different things that each department is facing. And also being a part of the Communication Student Union, I've gone to many retreats and meetings with the other student unions within the faculty as well, and they've stressed their personal concerns and issues that they're facing within their own union and the clubs that are participating in within each faculty. So to kind of manage my time between 3 campuses while being in one place, I plan on working closely with the exact members of each student union to just focus on their needs and if we can execute them. I also think that going to each event, making sure I'm present in each campus through, obviously having a streamlined communication. I think that's a step forward in trying to be present on all 3 campuses.
And do we have a question for the Faculty of Environment? Faculty of Environment. All right, I'll pass it over to Diane. She will give a question from our journalist.
So if elected, you'll be working on a large team of board members.
is your specific experience working in a team?
Good question. As far as working in a team, like I said, since I first came to SFU, I've been a member of the Bachelor of Environment Student Union. And it's a large team this semester. Last semester was smaller. We've worked together on many projects. It's always a group effort. It's important to focus on working together, to not take on too many tasks alone. It's important to delegate roles, especially as a board member. And I plan to just continue what I've been doing so far.
All right, thank you, Russell. And can we take another audience question for FPAP? All right, we'll move on to emailed questions.
So what work or volunteer experiences that make you qualify for the position that you're running for?
As I mentioned before, I've worked within my faculty very closely, part of the Communication Student Union as VP of Events. And I've been a part of working within a large member and being a part of a team. And we've discussed a lot of the issues we are facing. And also I've mentioned in my previous question that I've been to many retreats where we've talked about how to improve the faculty in itself within the unions as well as the clubs. And I've already talked to students within my faculty, and a lot of my friends and stuff that are in the faculty have stressed their concerns. I like to see them as almost my focus group because they're all at different levels of their education and different levels in their life, so they all want different things from their education. And so with that being said, I think that really qualifies me for this position because I believe I can make some serious change.
All right, any questions for the faculty environment candidate? All right, I'll move it over to you.
So what does the word accountability mean to you?
Thank you for the question. Accountability is very important, especially within any governance system. It essentially is linked to responsibility, where if I am elected, I have a responsibility to each and every student, both within the Faculty of Environment and across all three campus-wide. Accountability means that there's no free mistakes. I cannot just do whatever I please. I cannot run away from any fallout from the actions I take. Accountability is to stand and take credit for not only my accomplishments, but also my mistakes. Thank you.
Thank you. So, closing statements?
Okay, I want to thank everyone again for coming out and supporting this election. I hope my answers have helped shed some light on what I stand for and what I'm able to bring to the table. As mentioned previously, I value change and making an impact. With myself being your FCAT rep, what I can promise is that I will strive for that change. And so will my team, Inspire SFU, who believe in making this institution greater for all students. Thank you so much.
I'd just like to thank everyone for coming out on this lovely afternoon. And I would just like to say that moving forward, if I am elected for a position as environment rep, I will bring the faculty together with more connection, more engagement, and more collaboration. Thank you.
Thank you, Amita and Russell. If we can now move on to the Faculty of Health Science rep candidates. Health Sciences,
She hasn't showed up.
Hi everyone, my name is Yasmin Khalili and I'm so excited to be here in front of all of you today. In my 4th year studying health sciences with a minor in biology, I am honored to be running with my incredible team, Shift SFU, a very diverse group of individuals, and there is true strength in our diversity. What I really wish to do if I am to be elected as the Faculty of Health Science representative is to build upon everything of that health science currently has. So although health science is a small faculty, it's quickly growing, and right now is the time
Evans, and I currently serve as a chair on the High Five Mental Health Movement at SFU. I hope to use a position on the board and the experience and skills I've gained through this involvement to provide a platform for students to get more engaged and to provide mental health services and to increase connectivity on campus. I'm really excited to be working towards these goals with a group of very talented and dedicated individuals, my team, Inspire SFU.
Questions from the audience now? Please direct it to the podium.
Hi, Yasmin and Christina. My question is, when you get elected as part of the Faculty of Health Science representative, it's your faculty that's voting for you, but once you're in the position of board of director, you're advocating on behalf of 26,000 students, which includes every single faculty and not just your own. Both of you on your platforms talk about working closely with HSUSU and expanding things that HSUSU does, but how will you manage your role as being a board of director first before specifically doing things for your faculty only?
Thank you, Rajan, for the question, and that is actually a really important point. So for all of us running as faculty representatives, we do represent so many more students as well. Part of my platform, I mentioned that not only do I want to advocate for health science students, but also to strengthen ties between other faculties. So I hope to work closely with all the other members on the board and to know that I don't know everything, even though I am in my 4th year. I've been here a while and I've talked to so many people to realize that I don't know everything and to allow myself to learn from others and to strengthen ties that way between faculties.
Thank you for your question, and yes, you bring up a really good point. It is important to remember that we are representing the whole student body. And with that in my platform, I actually mentioned working closely with HCS and groups such as High Five to improve mental health services, and working with them which would benefit all students on campus. And as well, I mentioned advocating for needs-based grants and open source textbooks, which of course in turn would also benefit all students as well.
Thanks, ladies. Can we take another question? Go ahead.
In comparison to what you see now in health sciences, what is your vision for student life in your faculty?
Thank you, Jeffrey, for that question. So very recently this week, I attended a health science design workshop that was run by some of the current HSUSU members, and they were looking to increase involvement in the Faculty of Health Sciences. A survey that they recently did showed that a lot of health science students didn't really prioritize involvement or volunteering or doing things in their faculty, and that was a huge surprise to me when I heard that result, because I myself am very involved. The people I see and the people I'm close to are all very involved, so I was under the impression that all students were like myself. So it was important to see the results of that survey and to work with Marco as well as Monique on the design lab, and we realized that, it's not the case. You can't just see yourself and people like you and assume everyone is the same. So what I really hope to do is to increase involvement in the Faculty of Health Sciences, show them the importance of getting involved early on, creating connections between 1st and 2nd years and 4th and 5th years, so they see that there's a path for them. And although academics is paramount and it's incredibly important, all the other things you do during your undergrad is as well, and all the things I have done is what has shaped me into who I am today. Thanks again, Jeffrey.
Thank you for your question. So as some already know, health sciences faculty already does their own phenomenal events, their gala, their panel, their Rosh. So my plan would be to work with them to help them maintain these events and help them grow, and as well help them work on including more small-scale events so that students can maintain those connections that they make at the events that they are participating in health sciences.
And thank you for that question, Will. So you bring up a really good point. This past year, I was a part of the Senate Undergraduate Awards Adjudication Committee as a student committee Senate member, and we realized the amount of applications we got for awards that were for students with adversity or students with in need of financial aid, apart from bursaries. So these were awards that some of them looked at academics as well. The amount of applications we got for those awards were so high, sometimes reaching 50 applications for a single award, whereas a lot of the applications for different things that did not base on the amount of money students needed, there were maybe 2 or 3 applications for one award. So looking at this huge, how different these 2 applications were, I realized then that there's a huge need to increase grants and increase awards for students who need it the most. That's why I hope, and with the Awards Adjudication Committee, we were talking as well about reaching out to sponsors and donors who would want to bring forth awards for students who are dealing with adversity, who are dealing with financial issues, and not just necessarily basing it on academics, because there's already so many awards for students with high academics, as well as what the SFSS is currently doing right now to increase needs-based grants in the province. I would love to work with them and continue what they have been working on currently. Thanks again, Mom.
So as mentioned on my platform, I do plan to advocate for needs-based grants and open source textbooks. As some of you may or may not know, the SFSS is already working on both these initiatives, putting together teams, meetings, community reports. So my plan is to connect with these individuals and to work with board members as elected to continue to advocate and work on these initiatives so that we can provide these services for students.
So again, my name is Yasmin Khalili. I'm in 4th year of Health Sciences. During my time at SFU, I've been involved with SFU Recreation, Student Central, several research labs. I've written for the PEAP, and I'm super excited to be running for this position with my amazing team, Shift SFU. So please take a moment on March 20th to 22nd and vote. And I'm not just saying vote for me, but I'm saying read everyone's platforms. Vote for the student whose platform best resonates with you and who you think can best represent the wishes you have for your faculty. Thank you so much for coming out, everyone.
So I'd like to thank everyone for coming out today, and I encourage all of you to look at all the candidates' platforms and to make an informed choice. And of course, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I would love to hear from you guys, love to connect with you. And don't forget to vote March 22nd.
Hello everyone, my name is Jasdeep Gill and I'm running to be your next VP External Relations. I'm running with the team Shift SFU, and a part of my platform is to advocate for more affordable student housing projects, to increase the indigenization of all 3 of our campuses, and to also involve more stakeholders when we are advocating for issues. So that includes other student unions in the province and other student federations that are advocating for all of the same issues that we are going for, and to move forward as a collective. Thank you.
My name is Levine Sidhu, and I'm running for Vice President External Relations with the Inspire SFU team because I'm a passionate, motivated, and dedicated individual for advocating for your needs. I wanted to run for SFSS because I wanted change. I knew there had to be change, but if you want it, you need to be the change. If I were to be elected, my platform, something that I want to do is advocate for mental health and sexual violence prevention. I want to make this campus fun by making it more engaging and actually have a culture, and I want to represent Simon Fraser University to the government professionally and persuasively. My name is Levine, and I want to be your Vice President of External Relations.
Hey guys. Something that I think is not just a problem at SFU, but at many campuses around North America, is sexual assault and sexual violence. So what would you do? What measures would you take to actually help prevent some of these very unfortunate occurrences on campus? Thank you.
All right, thank you for the question, Mo. So, as some of you may already know, SFU recently opened up the Sexual Violence and Prevention Support Office on February 1st. What they did was they made some changes to the policy, GP44, to actually make sure that we are paying more attention to sexual violence issues, and that we are making sure that our population as students is informed about what consent actually is and what we can do moving forward. So I really am grateful that the previous board has initiated these policies and this office, and what I plan to do moving forward in my position is to make sure that all of the guidelines and these policies are followed through. There's enough funding and attention on these issues so that now that we have initiated these programs, they don't just stop there, that we continue investing in them and investing in our student safety as well.
I have been advocating for sexual violence prevention since my second year. I was part of the athletics program, the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, and I was actually given the opportunity of sitting down with 2 other students with our Vice President of SFU and actually creating the very first policies SFU ever made in regards to sexual violence. So something that I've taken on looking into residents as well as NCAA athletes to perhaps have our professors involved within the first week of classes to show a mandatory video that's probably 2 to 3 minutes about what consent is. We would like to think that everyone knows what exactly is the definition of rape, but people don't understand what it actually is. We have 30,000 people on this campus, but there's only a mandatory orientation in any sort of form for 1,200 students. That's something that I think easily could be done, as well as maybe implementing a policy at the as part of the course syllabus, because at the end of the day, something that needs to be fixed is the stigma around sexual violence. People need to be able to get the support and the resources that they deserve, and that's something I will be lobbying with the government to receive more support and resources for health and counseling as well.
Hey guys, my name is Burnaby. Firstly, I would like to say thank you guys for putting your name out there. I know it's very stressful. My question for both of you is, why do you guys think you're qualified for this position?
Thank you, Farhan. So I believe I'm qualified for this position because I have 3 years of student involvement experience. I'm currently the president of the Student Marketing Association, and a part of my role is to make sure that I recognize the needs of our student society and also the marketing students, and to bring in external stakeholders to meet those needs. And that's largely what I will be doing as an external relations VP. So I need to recognize what the concerns of our student body is and go out to the province and other stakeholders and make sure that we are well funded and well resourced as far as meeting our concerns.
Thank you for the question. One reason that I believe I'm qualified for this position, I think, is because of the fact that I'm a fighter. I have been the underdog in a variety of different positions, whether that is from wrestling. I used to suck my first year, and I ended with an undefeated season within 3.5. I also think that with my experience being part of the Business Faculty Student Union, I am the Vice President of Corporate Relations, and I'm dealing with corporate partners every single day. And that's something that I know that qualification and experience that I can take into VP External Relations if I am lobbying with the government. The other thing is I have been dealing with politicians since a young age. My elementary school has given us the opportunity actually to speak to political parties, so I understand the actual etiquette that is necessary, and I also know from my experience within case competitions as well as just being involved within my high school how to be persuasive. And I think that at the end of the day, if you're having as someone advocate for your needs, you need a persuasive professional and an individual that is going to fight for what you need.
Hi, Jessie from the lead. My question comes from the current VP External. She couldn't be here, so I'm just asking on behalf of her. So she asks, can you please speak to the advocacy of the lobby trips this year? And as VP External next year, what would you do differently in terms of the lobbying efforts?
So from what I understand, one of the most important lobby trips we've had this year is the BC Student Needs-Based Grants. So that's something that from what speaking with Prav, I've heard that she's worked with UBC and UWIC to make sure that those issues go forward to the provincial government. I believe that has been a great initiative, but we can strengthen our relationships with other student unions as well. There's over 14 student unions that are part of the BC Federation of Students, and I'm not saying that we should directly go and join them, but I'm saying that there's efforts that they are making that also align with ours, and that we can move forward as a collective. So it's not just the major schools in our provincial government that we can work with, it's also these smaller campuses like Kwantlen, like Douglas, like BCIT, who have the same needs as us, and I feel like we need to do a better job as working with them as when we move forward with these advocacy trips.
I was basically going to say what Jazz said about the lobbying trip, but I think one thing that would really help with advocacy initiatives is I think just the level of awareness on campus isn't that great. When we were campaigning and handing out handbills, not a lot of people even know what the SFSS does. And I think if we're trying to actually get awareness for advocacy issues where we're fighting for your needs, things that you guys want, I think we should actually be more inclusive of our students. And I think one thing that I would like to do right now, advocacy surveys are only ever done every 2 years. But I find that pretty extraordinary if you're advocating, if a new person is coming in every year, we should be having more feedback surveys, I think, on some of the smaller issues, and that's what I would like to implement if I was elected, because I think it's important to get feedback as you go instead of taking something that's 2 years old.
Thank you, ladies. I see that there's a lot of questions. Unfortunately, we have a lot of time. If any of you in the audience have questions that you'd like answered, please email them to elections@sfss.ca, and we'll be circulating a list of questions to all the candidates that they can answer from their own social media platforms. So closing statements, please.
So for my closing statement, I think the most important issue that we have facing our student body right now is lack of voting. So one of the most important things that I'll urge everyone to do is please go online, read everyone's platforms, and make sure you resonate with the people that you vote for. Voting is March 20th to 22nd, and I'm running with Shift SFU. Thank you.
I do want to thank Jazz Deep. I don't know if you guys know this, she is one of my closest friends, so it kind of sucks competing against each other, but I know whoever you guys vote for is going to do an amazing job. What I would like to say is that the platform that I presented to you is something that I believe in, something that I'm passionate about and I have experience in, and I think it's feasible. That's why I wanted it to be out there, and you guys understand that this is what I would like to do, something I would like to achieve. However, at the same time, one thing I think the SFSS can do better is taking more feedback, like I mentioned. And if you guys have other initiatives, new ideas, more passions, I want to take that into consideration. And I want to be the person that you elect to fight for your needs, to represent you to the government and other student societies. I'm running with Inspire SFU, an amazing team. You guys are so much fun, and I really hope you guys elected together. And I really hope that you guys, again, make an informed decision, read up on everyone's platforms. Every team has an amazing platform. Everyone's a great candidate, and I really hope that you vote for Liv Wayne for VP External. Thank you.
Thank you. If we can have the candidates for VP University Relations, we can go out to the platform. Opening statements.
Yes. Hello everyone, my name is Colin Fowler. I'm a third-year economics major with a business minor. I have experience in the Economic Student Society as membership officer, as well as Alpha Kappa Psi fraternity as the recruitment chair. My policies are all on my website. I want to advocate for the gondola. I want more support for athletics. I want better support for maintenance to ensure we don't have a crumbling campus. And I really want to advocate for mental health. Again, this is all in further detail on my website, and I look forward to hearing from you over this campaign period. Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Jackson Friedman. I'm running to become the next VPUR as well. Throughout my time at SFU, I've worked really hard to try to make a lot of important changes here on the campus community through a number of different ways. I think most notably through my participation on last year's board of directors as the arts representative. I hope to build on this experience and enact some more important changes here on the SFU community, and I hope to do so with my incredible team at Inspire SFU. Thank you.
Audience questions?
Awesome. Hi, I'm Natalie. So I have questions for the both of you. First, Mr. Friedman, you're currently on the board of directors. In your platform this election, you state that you will, and I quote, work to empower the student groups on campus who provide support to students who suffer from mental illness. As you are aware, I'm the coordinator of one of the major mental health advocacy student groups on campus. We have reached thousands of students a year, as noted in the statistics that we have provided to your current board before. Despite this, our experience has been contrary to your claim to support mental health, given the repeated refusals by the SFSS to support us. This year alone, your board has rejected all of our funding requests. How can you convince mental health advocates like myself that you will keep your election promises, and what steps will you take to empower these student groups?
Thank you.
Can we have a directed to both candidates?
Yeah, of course. So also, Colin, you talked about waitlist times. I would also like you to address after Mr. Friedman how you will be dealing with this.
So, sorry, just for clarification, so I'm answering the same questions as Jackson in addition to how I would tackle the wait times?
Yes, please.
Okay, sounds great.
I'll go first. So you're absolutely right, Natalie. The board of directors did make a decision this year to consider High Five under the domain as necessarily a club, not necessarily an internal group within the SFSS. My personal opinion is that mental health is among the most important initiatives on campus. So the steps that I would be willing to take, and I hope the board of directors would be willing to take this year to empower the student group, and what I mean by that on your platform is one commitment the SFSS made this year is to contribute $75,000 towards mental health initiatives in coordination with health and counseling. I'd like to see High Five have a really important say to how that $75,000 is spent. I don't see any student group on campus with more, experience and knowledge about how mental health is from the perspective of students, how you can support other students through mental health initiatives. I think High Five is the #1 group on campus for that. And just because the board of directors made a decision regarding their status as a club, I do think that comversation can be ongoing. I'd love to support funding initiatives on behalf of High Five, and I'd be an advocate for you on the board of directors next year. And I'd love to increase the visibility of the work that your group does on campus. So perhaps using our SFSS communications channels to allow for High Five to contribute or to market themselves on a more wide perspective or wide basis, so that more students can be aware of the good work they do. Thank you.
Hi Natalie, so it's always great to hear from mental health on campus. I do want to touch you, I did review the board minutes from the November 10th meeting where you guys presented in regards to funding as well as the use of SFS's social media channels to promote High Five. I would fully support that if I was elected because I do think that you're getting a lot of what's happening with health and career service or health and counseling services offloaded onto you. That's completely unfair to make students do a professional's job, and that needs to change on campus. That's something that's been failing to be addressed in the past. It needs to be changed. Secondly, as university relations, I want to bring more resources to health and counseling services. I'm hearing about wait times of 9 months for counseling services. That's absolutely unacceptable. Knowing people in crisis myself, I think it's really a really dangerous game to play when you try to make people wait out something that's absolutely vital and needs to be treated right away. So in terms of wait times, obviously I will look into this. I want to look into hiring more counselors, but I guess we have more to discuss because as you know, we're meeting tomorrow with regards to High Five funding and other things that we can maybe do for you with Shift SFU if we're elected. So I do look forward to hearing more from you then. But I would definitely like to say, yeah, I really want to work with you guys. This is a very personal issue for me with many of my friends suffering from this. And I really want to make sure that we can make a positive change on campus and not maybe dance around the block for a year and BS our way through this.
Thank you very much. We look forward to speaking with you.
Thank you. Well, the second question, I believe, from Matt was with regard to wait times, and I think that was addressed. To her satisfaction? Okay, thank you.
And just to reiterate again, please direct your questions to both candidates.
I will be brief. There are short-term priorities and there are long-term priorities, like building residences will take at least 5 years. How do you prioritize between short-term and long-term?
I think that things in the long term stay long term, often because people want to deal with them in the long term. They think that something's going to take 5 years, so they start planning for it in 5 years from now. And I think that's completely unacceptable. I have 4 policies on my platform, as you know: mental health, maintenance, athletics, and gondola. So I have a good mix of things that are going to be more short term and more long term, and I plan to work on all of them immediately. In terms of, sorry, the question was, how do I... Okay, so short term versus long term, I think that there's a mix, and I honestly do believe that I will do the best of my ability to begin a lot of these policies on day 1, as soon as I'm elected, and that's how we're going to deal with it. It's not by blowing it off until next week or the week after that, but by starting immediately on all policies and procedures in order to actually get these things done by the time that our mandate is up, so that we can look back and say we did this rather than pushing to the next election season?
I think to answer your question, Jeffrey, one of the most challenging things about being on the board of directors is it is really only a one-year term, and it's very difficult to get these major projects completed in that time frame. I think Colin spoke to it effectively well too, and that is that it's really important to lay the groundwork on major projects you believe will take longer than your term will be, and set really important dedicated guidelines on how you want those things to be laid out in the future and how you want those checkpoints to be hit. Also, I do think it's important to have a diversity of ideas with respect to long-term and short-term goals. I've tried to populate my platform with a few ideas that I think are attainable this coming year. So, for example, one of those things would be the lighting and CCTV infrastructure. I've spoken with campus safety already this year, the safety and risk services, about a potential infrastructure development on campus to increase the light in a lot of the dark places on campus. I do believe that's something we can get done within this calendar year and on my term of the board of directors. Whereas the things like the gondola project that we're both actually advocating on behalf of would be a much more long-term goal, but I'd like to ensure that there are really clear and concise, objectives put in place before that project takes place, so we know what kind of goals we can hit as board of directors moving forward. Because again, this is only a one-year term.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. We'll move on to closing statements now.
Thank you so much. So as you've heard from me today, you can also check out my platform online, my Facebook event, and whatever else is relevant to you. My name is Colin Fowler, running for Vice President of University Relations on the Shift SFU slate. With prior experience in student unions as well as fraternities on campus, I believe that I'm a balanced candidate and that I understand the ground level approach to student life rather than the 30,000 feet up in the air approach. Again, my priorities are to get the gondola built in a timely manner, work with athletics to promote them, work with maintenance to ensure that it's being done and being done on time, and finally get some actual mental health work done that has been neglected for so long. Thank you very much, and I hope to be your next Vice President of University Relations after voting ends on March 23rd. Thank you.
So thank you all for coming out. Again, this is an incredible turnout. It's great to see, especially being on the board last year, that there's so many people engaging in these elections. It's really, really inspiring. If you'd like to find out more information about the campaigns that we're all running, please check out the website, find out some more information, and make an informed choice. My platform's up on my Facebook event page. I think all the platforms are posted in a condensed form online as well. I encourage you all to vote for the Inspire SFU candidates. I think they're an incredibly well-designed, dedicated team of experienced students, and they're ready to fight for you guys. Thank you very much, and I appreciate it.
And once again, just to reiterate, if you can all ask questions to both candidates, we greatly appreciate it. Now, if the candidates for VP Student Services can make their way up to the opening statements.
Running alongside the wonderful team of Shift SFU, I'm here to be your hopeful next VP Student Services, bringing forward issues that can be managed within a one-year term, bookings on the 5th floor of the AQ that are available to be done, a club matchmaker that can bring presents to clubs that need it. I am here to bring forward issues that can be addressed, and hopefully within this 1 year, I'm ready to make these things happen. Thank you very much.
Biology major. I have been here for 4 years and I've been highly involved in student life and a part of SFSS. For the past 2 years, I've been part of the Surrey Comms Committee and Burnaby Events Committee. Throughout these experiences, I've learned about the importance of the student society and the services that it does provide for student life. And I hope to be the voice for you guys to cater to student needs. Thank you.
Hello, it's me again. I want to thank you guys for mentioning mental health in the platform. It's very important. Both of you acknowledge that there's long wait times and solutions to this. However, some of the solutions that you talked about, Sarah, was talking to health and counseling counselors. And then you also talked about online services. However, online therapy has proven to be, and I quote, often not enough for mental health issues, and meeting face-to-face is still better when treating people in mental health stress. Students at SFU deserve the best possible resources, therefore online counseling is dehumanizing and not the most beneficial option.
One of the issues with online service is the fact that it generalizes what mental health means. It puts it on a two-dimensional platform, makes it seem like you run through a course, 4 little programs, and once the modules are all done, you know what you're going on the direction. For me, that doesn't quite work. Moving forward with programs such as Moving Forward Family Services, these are areas of mental health that what they do is they bring forward counseling based on the income of the household that they're working with. This is a group that isn't labeled as external, but they work closely with areas very heavily in SFU Surrey, having great turnout at their events because people address that when you spend over $190 an hour to talk to a professional counselor, you are doing something very wrong to people. In that system, we should be bringing in external resources and people such as yourself, who even on your healthy weeks when you have all these events just for mental health, you have some of the highest turnouts on any of your events. Bringing to the terms the fact that High Five needs to be labeled alongside faculties. Bringing in mental health as a necessary component of every faculty and area on campus is a necessity to address the wait times that are constantly being a problem on campus. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. I do agree that the wait times are very extensive. The reason I did put the online book on my platform is because of the extensive wait times. I do believe that we need to find a better solution to alleviate these times, which that was just another thing that UBC does is having people being trained to give counseling, and that can also be an amazing opportunity for people who are graduating to get their experience and to actually do that one-on-one contact with people. And again, is to increase awareness in everything of the services we do provide, because again, like that is a critical time that students need to talk to someone, and having intensive wait lines is not okay. And I definitely want to do everything in my power that I can to increase opportunities to alleviate those wait times.
Peer support over online counseling, correct?
I would try to do both programs. I do agree that the online system is not as effective as one-on-one, counseling. However, given the wait times, I do believe that we should have multiple opportunities for students to access wherever they're comfortable in receiving. Thank you.
Hey guys. Now, more money is being spent on mental health services, we all know this, but according to the National College Assessment, SFU is failing almost every category. For example, rates of mood disorder incidents are getting progressively worse in comparison to rates reported about 6 years ago. The counselors have been heard, but the stakeholders of the SFSS are the students. Should we not be asking the students for their input in terms of mental health reform?
Great, thank you for your question. One of the things I want to point out first is out on campus, actually just received a new director. Their individual's name is Danny, a non-binary individual who has just stepped into a lot of experience on the issue. One of the biggest points that I need to point out is mental health, again, is not two-dimensional. When you address issues, you're talking about things like people worried about a transgender or something of the issue that people are not prepared to speak about recently. And while you bring in new coordinators, you bring in new programs and implementing workshops that was mentioned that Rushi has brought in is a start, yes, but we need to address the issues that are coming in private from people who don't want to talk about it on the surface. So surveys are a great start. We need to hear from the coordinators. Talking to Marcy Adam at the Surrey campus, she's told me time and time again, students are so ready to speak about issues that they have, they just don't know where to go. We're doing a generalized online survey, issues that people want to talk about their experiences within clubs, invert those statements on clubs and surveys about external resources, and use those to shift how people feel about resources that they can access, my apologies, such as mental health.
So one of the things that I would like to do if I'm elected would be to join the advocacy committee and to advocate for mental health. Just like Summer said, a big issue that we have is that a lot of people are not aware of the services that we do provide. So when we do have amazing programs like the Elder Campus for the Women's Center, and the Women's Center, people just aren't aware that they have these amazing services. And I also want to definitely apply them to all campuses because that's a huge issue that we face currently with everything is Burnaby centric. And we have students that go to all three campuses. We have 26,000 students, and we need to be able to increase this awareness and to be able to reach all these students.
All right, thank you. And we're just going to finish with closing statements.
Ladies and gentlemen, rather than not saying again my intro to you, what I'm going to show to you is my backpack. And the reason I bring this up is you can probably notice a lot of pins on this thing. This is because I love being on every part of campus, and when I say SFSS, I say
amount of people who have showed up. I just want to thank you guys for all coming. Check out all our platforms. I'm a part of Inspire SFU, who's a great dedicated radical group of people who have a collective vision to make the school a better place. I definitely want to be your voice for you guys. Hopefully check out my platform. And thank you once again for being here.
I want to take an approach in terms of taking events as I feel events are a comparison to advert. When I say they're a comparison to advert, I feel like events are a temporary solution to the deeper problem, which is social isolation at SFU. So what I propose is to use elements like the strategic engagement committee, and I pledge to take the SFSS to the surgical table so that we can address the cancer, which I feel is continuously being moved towards by Inspire SFU, by saying that events are ways to address issues at SFU, because I feel like events are only temporary solutions to deeper problems like social isolation.
So I've been part of the events committee for the past year, and we have done some great work. So I'm looking to engage students with clubs more, because it's one of the fastest and easiest way for people to engage with their clubs and like-minded people. I also feel like regularly scheduled events, either in small and big events, could help people associate and create culture and society within each other. And I also like for the board to meet with more students so they can have open eyes on what the board does and more engagement and say there's suggestions, concerns, and comments regarding what we can do better.
So one of the most important roles of your role is that in the student engagement. So how do you plan in your role as VP student life to have more engaged SFU and more engaged campus?
So in my platform, there's a point that I've stressed about social media. We need to embrace the social media channel that we have. Reza in his platform talked about meeting the board events. There's 16 board members. We divide 16 board members by 25,000 students. That's 1,700 students. And it's also hard to get individual board members to meet with more students here. We need to embrace social media. We're in the 21st century, and then on my platform point, I've got a dedicated strategic plan, which I want to initiate so that we can have all 16 members of social media profiles. President Barack Obama uses a handle called So my rebuttal to what Reza has said is that, well, Jim Baines, the current VP Finance, had budget consultations. He had a social media approach and he had an in-person approach. His in-person approach, after talking to me, was not as successful as the social media approach. So even though you try to have in-person meetings, it may be something that you can put forward and tell students it's something you're going to work on, but to be honest, it's not something that we can actually do. Students here are busy. Students, I need to allow students, I've stayed on residence for the past 3 years. I can walk up to this office and I can talk to board members, but there's about 20,000 students that don't stay here. We need to use social media profiles to engage students here at SFU. We can't tell students that I'm going to do meet the board events with most of the board members, and I'm not sure if Reza has ever visited the SFU residence, but I've stayed there for 3 years.
Been to the student residence because one of my friends, Alex, who's part of Inspire SFU, is in there, and I have been there before. And when I say we need to engage more board members, and obviously social media is a big part, that is why we have Facebook pages for SFSS, and that is why we have emails and Facebooks for every aspect when we have events, and students are easier for them to reach out. And in person is basically going to be even if it takes 5 minutes for a board member to meet with a student, it will be more effective. And obviously social media is going to be a huge part as well.
So in closing, I just want to say that I do respect Reza's ideas, but I believe that his ideas are half-formed, generic, and I'm not so sure how heartfelt they're going to be. In terms of one of his points on his platform, he talked about hosting motivational events for students. I believe that Reza's ideas of motivating people through mental health are misguided. Clearly, my opponent has never heard of high-functioning depression. You can be at the top of your class in a league of your own, but still be depressed. So I'm not so sure how hosting motivational speakers is going to address mental health problems at SFU.
Can we keep our statements PG? Thanks. Go ahead,
Okay, for closing, so I've decided to run for the VP Student Life with Inspire SFU because I believe there are a team of dedicated individuals that will stop at nothing to better the life of students. Please read the Inspire SFU platforms because they're thorough and well thought out platforms online on the SFSS website and on our Facebook event pages. It is crucial for students to make informed decisions on who will be their next voice. Thank you for coming out.
Have the candidates for VP Finance make their way up. VP Finance. You can start with your opening statement.
Hi all, my name is Matthew Chow, and I'm a third-year accounting and MIS student invited to be your next VP Finance alongside the Inspire SFU team. My role as VP Finance for the Business Faculty Student Union and the Vice Chair for its respective gala has challenged me to understand what student value really means. As such, I aspire to bring transparency into SFSS so that all students, not just accounting ones, can understand what we pay into. Through infrastructure and information technology, I will ensure that student value is the main priority. Thank you, and I'm happy.
Vikram Chandak is also a candidate for this position, but he couldn't make it today. So, questions?
Hi Matthew, this question is from the current VP Finance, Parshinder Baines. The question is, as the VP Finance, many stakeholders will ask you to raise student fees to fund different programs and projects. What is your opinion on increasing SFSS student fees?
When I think about things like raising student fees, I feel like that is not the first answer we should ever go to. I think, students have such a huge financial burden from tuition, books, attending student events, and I don't want that financial burden to be something that prevents SFU's community from blossoming. I think definitely taking a look first at what we have in the SFSS as an organization, seeing where we can cut costs down on, seeing how we can optimize, seeing how can we capture the costs that we're spending right now in expenses and turn them into investments. Make sure that we have strong structural capital to move forward into future years. So to answer that question, I don't think that student fees should ever be the first answer. I think that we, as an organization, need to take the time to analyze what we're doing first.
So you mentioned transparency, and that's awesome. Well, Junior Baines this year's VP Finance has made amazing strides towards transparency, towards student consultation, and working with people, right? In terms of drafting the annual budget for the SFSS. Usually we do in-person consultation, and there's very small, there's almost no turnover. This time we tried to do online as well. We reached out to all our channels, we held in-person consultations, we asked students, we gave them the numbers in a very clear way, and yet there was still no turnout. So what would you do differently?
What did I do differently? I mean, like, first of all, I think Belgium has done a great job. I think in previous years, like, financial statements haven't even been released, so that is a very good first step. I think what is missing in terms of transparency is translating what all that accounting jargon means. To make sure that we are providing workshops, like educational opportunities for students, understand that finance is more than just talking about balance sheets and capital statements, but for them to understand how any decision that is being made impacts them. And if they can understand that, I think that will greatly benefit the transparency of SFSS in terms of its financial operations.
When it comes to anything political, when a student, provincial or federal, when it comes to a budget, a lot of people want to make sure it's balanced so that deficits aren't run up. So my question to you is, what is your opinion about, what is your idea of fiscal responsibility to be elected?
Yeah, thank you for that question. I think it's really interesting because when it comes to finance, it's something that we all want to spend. It's something that we think in our years that we want to use to just, make sure we're always running at zero. And I think that to some degree that is true, but I think that when it comes to ensuring that the SFSS can do well, not only this year, but to future years, it's to make sure when it comes to financial responsibility that we're spending wisely and we're thinking about the future. Not just 1 year, but 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the line. Because we want to make sure that when it comes to student value, that it's not just being focused in one spot, but as the representatives of students here, that we also recognize that there are future students. So for me, it's making sure that we're doing the best with what we have and investing in the future that is the plan.
So as you talk about investing in the future, what's your stance on the study space expansion and the fund that is available for that?
When it comes to the, I think you said the study, I'm just going to say space expansion project. I think that it is really important for us as students to have places where we can gather around in terms of community. I think it's a little bit different from traditional investments where we don't have a quantifiable ROI, but in terms of investing in the future, I want to make sure that we do have the systems behind that to make sure that these spaces are being used effectively, that we're allocating spaces in a way and investing in spaces in a way that we know are bringing maximal student value. Yeah, so really with that, I think it's starting with the systems first, making sure that we have infrastructure in place to make sure that those decisions that are made around those funds are used best for what students want and what students need. So first and foremost, I want to thank all of you for taking the time to come and listen to our platforms. I know it's really cold outside, but I really want to thank you all for spending spending your time here so you can make an informed decision. I really hope to leverage my past experience working with the Business Faculty Student Union to better define what student value really means. And to build a system that supports So again, my name is Matthew Chow, and I'm running to serve as your next VP with my team, Inspire SFU. So I've actually
Here we go.
Good job. You've got the best.
Feel free to start your opening statement.
Hi everyone, thank you for coming out today and showing interest in the representation of student voices. My name is Jazz, I'm ready to be your next SFSS president, and I'm running with a team of inspiring individuals called Inspire SFU. And I'm here today, and I'm going to tell you guys that my history of leading events with student society, advocating for student concerns, and having knowledge about how student society works will be beneficial for the upcoming year as the student society president. Thank you.
Hello everyone, can you guys all hear me in the back? Awesome. So my name is Amr Singh, I'm with Shift SFU. I am running for the current SFSS president. My experience includes everything along in the community, from fundraising to working with Rotary International, with systems thinking, working with high impact startups. And I look to use this breadth of knowledge to be able to support the students at SFU. Thank you once again.
Hi guys. So the beginning of my address is to Amr, but the questions can be for both of you. In your platform, you mentioned shifting more to SFU student experiences and also how we as humans fit into society as a whole. It is interesting that despite our current society being known to be in what the government refers to as quote, a mental health crisis, that you do not speak of mental health, particularly given the concerns within SFU alone. Humans fit into society when we have good mental health. What role do you think mental health plays in the student experience, and why do you not mention mental health as one of your points if you want students to fit into society once we finish this dirty?
Thank you for your question. Also, before I answer, I also realized that I forgot to acknowledge that we are on the unceded Coast territories of the Musqueam, Tsleil-Waututh, Squamish, Musqueam, Tsleil-Waututh, and Stelo nations. And then to answer your question directly, your question was why is it that I haven't explicitly mentioned mental health well-being in the platform? Is that correct? Awesome. So the main reason why is that the thing is with me is that yes, I'm running for president, but I'm part of a team. And so it's important not just when you're looking at myself, but you look at what the team is, what the team platforms are, right? So if you look at people like Colin, right, who's running for university relations, he speaks quite heavily on mental health well-being. If you listen to Sammer, who's listening to University of Student Services, he speaks really highly about mental health awareness as well. So with myself as the president, a lot of what I have to do is being able to look at what our team does and who we are and how is it that we can support them. And so I agree, mental health is incredibly important. I've gone through several mental health barriers with myself, right? So I understand what it's like to feel like we're alone, to feel worthless, and to feel that there's no one there to support us. That being said, I also have a lot of confidence in the network that our teams put together in order to support students in this capacity. I can carry on, but I feel like you have a follow-up question.
No, I was just going to say that you mentioned that it's really important and that your team has mentioned it, but I just find it kind of ironic that you didn't mention it, seeing as you're running for the president of the Student Society.
Sorry, what was your name again? Jenna? So you think it's ironic that because I didn't explicitly, and I apologize, if I offended anybody by not explicitly including mental health in my platform, then that's a mistake on my part, and I do apologize. When I was creating the platform, a lot of what I had in my mind was looking at our team and looking at the holistic and bigger picture, of what our team composed of and what their platforms were. So from my perspective, because the teammates had it in their platforms, by default I'm supporting them. I'm sorry, yeah, but again, you know what? Like I acknowledge that was an oversight on my part, and I apologize if that caused any offense. I genuinely do apologize. Thank you for bringing it up. I do appreciate it.
All right. Thank you for your question. I want to say that mental health is a really important issue all around campus, and students from all faculties are experiencing like some form of like mental health problems within their studies at one point or another, right? I believe it's the SFSS job to invest in mental health and collaborate with all the student clubs on campus supporting mental health, and that's my take on it. Thank you.
Hi. This initial question is for Mr. Burnaby. You didn't speak of mental health, neither of you did, but in your address to the peak, you did mention it, and I quote, advocating for the development of new projects and through explaining mental health services on all campuses. I'm just curious, why did you mention it to the peak and not your official platform? And the actual question to both of you is, given that it's not mentioned on any of your platforms, what are your visions for mental health on campus, and how do you plan to improve mental health resources on all campuses in reaching said vision?
So sorry, just to correct you quickly, it is mentioned on my platform to create new mental health initiatives. As I mentioned, I'm a strong believer that mental health is important in all aspects. The Student Society is currently working on an initiative to implement more mental health resources for students with the university. This is something I hope to continue being part of and keeping continuity and culture on SFSS for supporting mental health initiatives. And what was your other question?
The other question was, what is your actual vision for mental health on campus, and how do you plan to improve the resources across all campuses?
So as I said, this new initiative is being implemented, and I would like to see strong communication for this new initiative for students to have access to mental health resources, whether it be like a modernized system at the SFSS office or online or whatsoever. I would like to see stronger communication and more effectiveness and more outreach to students for mental health.
I'm just curious, what are these new initiatives that are being looked into?
I will not speak on it because these have not been implemented yet. They're still confidential. They're being worked on by the Student Society, but they're in the current process. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Jazz, no offense, but I'm looking at your platform right now, and I don't see any mention of mental health. It's on 13. You want me to read it out?
Sure, go ahead.
It's fine. So the question was, what was the question again?
The question to both of you was, what are your visions for mental health on campus, and how do you plan to improve resources across all campuses?
So yeah, so the vision for how we propose mental health is, there's two aspects of it. One is understanding that there is a stigma around mental health, that there are a lot of barriers that people are facing, whether it's from the society or whether it's from their families. So one of the things we want to do is be able to create a safe space where people are able to have these conversations about what it is that's actually going on. What's the root cause of the pain or the problem that you're experiencing? Right, so like Colin was saying, a lot of what this exists of is being able to have more support from a counselor perspective. Colin didn't mention this, but we actually calculated how much it would cost students if we had 4 more counselors on board, and it would come up to be about $3.50 if we had 4 more full-time counselors. Right, so that's one aspect that we could do in terms of like being able to address that, the mental health issues on campus. Another thing is, again, going back to that sense of community. From my own personal experience, I know that when I was feeling low, the big reason behind that was the fact that I felt isolated, I felt like I wasn't part of the community. So again, we would try to harvest and cultivate that sense of community to ensure that people feel that they belong and that they have a safe space and a support network to be able to receive the care that they require to address their problems. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
So, over the last couple of years, there's been a lot of staff turnover at the SFS. A lot of full-time staff, some student staff. And, like for instance, the out on campus was closed for I think the whole of February, and Women's Center had to take on extra services. So as president, you're one of the staff liaison officers, and should be involved with some of the HR aspects of the organization, dealing with the upcoming union contract renegotiation. So basically, how are you going to get us off this path of constantly rehiring staff and losing all this experience and knowledge and wasting money and stuff with retraining?
All right, thank you for your question, Corbett. I believe modernizing of systems is one aspect that needs to be looked at from the student society's perspective. It's an important task for staff to help with being the continuity piece when new board of directors are elected each year. I believe staff play an important role in the functioning of the society. They manage all of the operations of the student society, which includes 10 different services, and they ensure successful transition between students as they are elected every year. For example, I do not get elected this year and Jackson do not, there will be new faces on the board of directors, and these board of directors are going to need help in terms of integrating into the society, and I believe staff play an important role in that. Thank you.
Thank you, Corbett, for your question. So, the staff turnover is quite drastic. I think we went from about 30 staff to about 8 now, and that's unacceptable. The staff do provide that continuity for the SFSS. They're the people who are the backbones behind the work that we do. And to hear some of the stories that I've heard, it is quite unfortunate. So the first thing that we would have to do is actually sit down and be able to have a conversation with them, see what is it that's actually working with them, what are the problems that they're experiencing, what's their story, and build that empathy. And the reason we want to do that is because it's about creating that sense of relationship and that sense of belonging, right? And so once we have that in order, right, then we would talk to the advisory board that I mentioned in my platform that we'd be creating to see how is it that we can move forward in hiring people that would be able to provide the most amount of value for the students, for the SFS, and people who will feel fulfilled in the work that they're doing. So a lot of it goes down to creating a sense of community within the staff, understanding what pains they've experienced, and how we can move forward in a sustainable way. Hope that answered your question. Awesome. Thank you, Corbett.
Hi, this question is from the current VP Finance. The question is, the SFSS has had a history of not supporting the academic pillar, of which we have 4, as strongly as the other pillars. How will you support the academic pillar in your year?
So I believe the academic pillar is an important pillar of the student society. To address this question, I would like to say that the relationship between the student society and student senators needs to be improved drastically. This is because every year student senators are elected and they do not have a relationship with the student society, and they create all these initiatives that they want to do, but they don't know how to do it and where to get this backing from. And I believe the student society plays an important role in advocating for these concerns and providing backing to these student senators. Also, another relationship that can be formed is with council as well. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. So the question was, how do we shift to focus more on the academic pillar rather than having that be neglected? So luckily from my experience, I've been part of the change team, which is looking at how do we shift how universities as an institution run and how we teach courses. Right? So in the end of March, I'm actually going to be going to Boston and talking to a lot of higher education institutions to see how is it that they're able to incorporate education and the student experience. So I don't have an explicit answer for you right now. That's something that I've jotted down and I can address sooner. I'm sorry, I can address later. But a lot of it comes down to just understanding what are the barriers that our students are facing in regards to their academics, and how is it that we can support them in that capacity. Thank you. I got one clap, that's awesome. Thanks, Colin.
Hey guys, just before I start with my question, I think it's important that we set the record straight regarding Jazz actually mentioning mental health, wanting to actually improve mental health on campus. He does mention it on his third initiative, where it says enhance the tri-campus community. And I can quote here, he said he's going to enhancing community among 3 main SFU campuses is critical. I'll do this by ensuring the continuation of the service space expansion initiative, a strong transition into the new Burnaby Student Union building by advocating for the development of new projects like the SFU Garden. and through expanding mental health services
There
on
it
all
is.
3
Woo!
campuses.
So yeah, I'm just going to say it again. It is in my platform. Feel free to check it out. If you would like a longer version of my platform, feel free to email me. I will be happy to provide it to you as well.
So this is why, let's leave the fake news south of the border, right? Okay, so the next, so my question is, what will you do, both of you, to improve supports for student unions and clubs on campuses? Thank you.
Okay, I believe I have just addressed this question, my last question as well. I believe one of the biggest things that SFSS is lacking is not engagement. Last year engagement has been great, but it's transparency between these clubs and student union members. So I would like to see more communication between these clubs, student union members, and again, I would like to see more modernization of systems, a better website on the SFSS, that would be awesome for a start, and just overall a place where students can go 24 hours to get their questions addressed, and better platforms online. Thank you.
Thank you, Moyes, for that correction and for bringing up the fake news. It's kind of like the bullying allegations that you threw out, but just set aside a bit. How is it that we're going to support student unions? So we've already begun this through our campaigning period. What we've done is we've actually sat down and spoken to several DSUs and understood what is it that the problems, the barriers that they're facing, right? And what we're going to move forward is actually continue on building that relationship and understanding what it is that we can do as a student society to ensure that they feel that their voice is being heard and that we're providing the services that they're looking for. Right, so we have a lot of things within our platform that dive into how we're planning on building this. I can go further, but I do want to respect our time, so I will keep that to that. Thank you.
All right, we're going to take one last question. Jen, have you asked the question before? Yeah, we'll take the question from you in that case. Just so everybody knows, please email to elections@sfss.ca any questions that you have that you didn't have answered today, so that all the candidates can choose to answer them through their social media platforms so that we can keep the debate going.
Thank you so much. So over the course of the past little while, you guys have spoken a lot about what you plan to do working with the other members of your slate in the future. So what do you foresee potentially working with elected board members outside of your slate being like, and what is your plan to make sure that you guys can work together effectively?
So this is a great question because regardless of who's on what slate or team right now, there's going to be 16 individuals elected to the board of directors, and chances are that they're not going to be all from one slate or team. I believe team cohesiveness and team solidarity plays an important role, and this leadership should come from the very top of the organization of the SFSS. So I will use my leadership experience to make sure that individuals are motivated, inspired, and ready to accomplish their initiatives.
Thank you for your question. Again, a lot of it comes down to, I agree, there's a good chance of a big slate, and a lot of the experiences that I've had involve, how is it that we actually understand the motivations and the values that different people with different perspectives have. An example is the Shift SFU team. We come from a diverse background, but we're focused on the similar values, right? So same concept would exist with the SFSS new board. It would require having a retreat. This is where we just be outside of society, just us as a team, get to bond, understand what it is that we're looking for, what were the reasons that we decided to run, what are some of the values that we have, the motivations, and really get to see people as people, not just as objects, right? And by doing that, we're able to build that empathy, that trust, and be open and vulnerable. By doing this allows us to be able to move through the tough times and be able to have that relationship, to be able to ensure that regardless of what happens, that we see a collective vision and we're able to work together. I hope that answered your question. You're very welcome. Thank you.
All right, we're gonna add an extra 10 minutes. Last two questions.
So as you guys may know, and a lot of students may know, one of the biggest problems for students is the food prices on campus. So my question is simply, how do you plan on tackling that problem?
I'm glad you brought this question up as well, Alum. Yes, you're right. Food services is an important problem on campus. SFU students have to currently pay a lot of money for little value when it comes to food services. And the catering is not always of top quality. At least that's what the student union club members are saying. And I will advocate to make sure that students' voices are being heard to the university on this matter itself. It's kind of unfortunate. I can say from my own experience as well that students have to pay around like $50 to get like a jug of water at their event. This money could be used towards engagement and like engaging students instead. So this is something I would continuously support throughout the year. Thank you.
Thank you all for your question. It's great that you brought it up because this was actually something that we spoke about at the Senate and Board of Governors retreat on the weekend. One of the things that we looked at was how is it that we are able to promote more community restaurants at Cornerstone. But more explicitly to your thing, what I think a big part of this entails is being able to work with Joanna Curry, VP of Journal, and being able to work with the different stakeholders to understand what it is that the contract consists of and how is it that we can bring that value down, right? Because it is unfair and it is quite upsetting the fact that students are paying $21 for a pizza that looks, for lack of better words, quite unappealing, right? So a lot of it comes down to, again, understanding who it is that's involved in making these decisions, having those conversations, and being able to understand, again, how can we create the most amount of value for students. Thanks, Alan.
So this year, I've learned to be a student leader, and I've watched many other student leaders, many successful, many less so. And one thing that I've learned is that you don't only need to be strong, you need to be vulnerable. So how have you demonstrated humility and self-sacrifice for the betterment of others?
That is an amazing question. I really thank you for it, Jeffrey. So aside from like inspiring your team individuals, I believe a lot of my experience just comes from being involved at SFU and SFSS. I've been a director of internal operations for the Media Involvement Program, so I know what it means to inspire a team of coordinators to accomplish their best. I've overseen the staff this whole last year of the Student Society, and I've worked with the other directors on various events, whether I was director of marketing for the fall kickoff concert, constantly talking to students, getting them engaged, or leading on various events such as pancake breakfasts, pop nights. So I really know what it means to engage students and inspire them to be more involved in the community. Thanks.
Thank you, Jeff, for the question. Vulnerability is incredibly imperative in building trust. It is something that I hold very dear, and people that know me know that when it comes to me, that I am going to be open and vulnerable. That's just how it is. Even though there's times when people may take advantage of that, it's important for us as humans to be open and vulnerable, be able to build that trust. An example, just actually in this debate, was with Jenna, when she brought up that question about why is it that I didn't bring up mental health in my platform. For me, I was open and vulnerable, and I apologized, and I realized that, you know what, that wasn't a short side on my part, right? And so, again, that's me being open and vulnerable. Another aspect of just being a vulnerability in our life is that the conversations that we have, if you talk to a lot of people who know me, a lot of the students, a lot of my friends, they'll vouch for the fact that when it comes to our conversations, I'm going to be open and I'm going to be frank and I'm going to be vulnerable. And the reason why is it comes down to that ability to create trust in relationships. And that is a huge characteristic in why someone like myself would be ideal for president, because what you see is what you get. I am not perfect, I'm a human, but I'm able to accept and acknowledge my shortcomings, and I'm able to have that humility in the sense that, you know what, that's why we have a kick-ass team of Shift SFU. That's why we went and built the advisory board, because I understand that, you know what, Jazz has a lot of SFSS experience. I know that I have a lot of external experience working with businesses, working with startups. So we built that advisory board because they would be able to support us, who would then be able to better support the students, right? Again, the team that we have at Shift SFU are absolutely sensational individuals. Not only do we have the similar values, but we all have different skill sets that complement each other, right? And again, that comes from the fact that, you know what, people like Jasdeep and Twanda are two cornerstones of our team, and they have characteristics that complement me, right? So again, humility is incredibly important. You know, I can go on about this, but I really don't. I encourage you guys to talk to members of the Shift SFU team and ask them, how has Amr responded in terms of being vulnerable, and how has he responded in terms of humility? Because it's one thing for me to say all this, but I think that's almost counterintuitive, because I'm almost being arrogant by saying, this is how I am. So I encourage you guys to ask people on Shift SFU, ask people who know me, and again, thank you very much. That is a really important question, and if you guys take one thing away, I hope that you guys are able to see me a little bit more as a human from this conversation. And again, contact me if you have questions, right? That's what we're here for. We're here for those relationships. We're here for those conversations. We're here to be open and vulnerable, to hear your guys' voice, and act as that mirror for you guys, so that we're vouching for you guys. Thank you again, and yeah, so much love for that question. Cheers.
One last question.
Two components of my question. First is, how do you plan to integrate, on behalf of the student society, how do you plan to integrate the residents, students in the wider SFU community? And the second component is, how are you better able to support SFU athletes in their goals? Thank you.
So SFU athletes and residents. I believe with any group on campus, engagement is the main concern, and student engagement it should be contributing to like all the groups on campus. This falls into the social pillar of the Simon Fraser Student Society. I hope to engage with all groups on campus more, whether it be even Greek life supporters or Residents Hall Association or athletes or even all our club and student unions. I will focus on engagement itself. It doesn't matter who it is. I will always have an open door policy. Whenever one of these members wants to speak with me, they'll be free to come to my office and talk to me anytime about their concerns.
So the question was, you can go ahead, Pat. The question was, how do we plan on engaging people and residents and athletes? So Wanda mentioned that he's been living on res for the past 3 years, right? So again, it comes down to building those relationships, being able to have those conversations to understand what are the pains and problems that they've experienced and how can we resolve them, right? In regards to the athletes, the first meeting that Shift SFU had was with the Student Athlete Advisory Committee. And what we did is we actually sat down throughout the entire meeting. Even though the co-president was like, you can leave after doing our little spiel, we insisted, you know what, we're going to listen to you guys. And the reason why is it's one thing for people to come to us at our office, but it's another thing for us to actually go on the ground and talk to people, right? And so one of the things that we've done, and that is evident throughout our campaign, is that we've gone out and we've gone and spoken to people, right? We've taken the time to actually sit down, listen, and even if that means like taking an hour for a couple individuals to hear their story, that's what it takes, because at the end of the day, that one person matters and their story matters. And again, it's about that humility. It's about realizing that, you know what, in this role that we have, in this privilege and this opportunity we have, it comes with that great responsibility of understanding and building those relationships, right? So we've been talking to people on res for a long time. We've been talking to the athletes and trying to figure out how is it that we can engage them, right? So I can give you a quick idea that we bounced off with the athletes, which is having a pre-game event. So similar to what you do with the Seattle Seahawks. Imagine having a carnival or event, the game for the season opener of a football game, right? What this does, this brings students together. They're able to have a good time, and then we're able to go and watch a football game or an athletics game, right? So this is something that we co-created with the athletes in one of our meetings. So that's a quick little snippet or example of how we choose to engage the audience, or engage the athletes and residents. Thank you.
I would just like to say the Inspire SFU team has been doing a wonderful job as well in the same regard. They too have sat with the Student Athletic Advisory Committee. They as well have sat with all different clubs such as K-Storm, Esports, the Punjabi Student Association, and they've been doing a phenomenal job as well. So just a big shout out to the Inspire SFU team. Thank you. I'd just like to end off by saying thank you all for coming out today and showing interest in the representation of student voices. If you're looking for a genuine leader who you can trust on the board of directors, someone you can come to anytime to talk about your concerns and who will advocate on your behalf, vote Jazz for president and vote Inspire SFU. Thank you guys. I love you guys too.
Awesome. Thank you guys once again for taking the time out your day to be with us. Closing statement is this. I'm going to be open and vulnerable with you guys. Yes, I have a lot of strengths, but I also have a lot of weaknesses. That is why people on the Shift SFU team come as somebody. If you don't choose me as the president, I highly encourage you guys to look into them. Right? They are people who genuinely give a damn about you. They are people who have gone through hell and back like myself, to serve the students of SFU, they are people who actually want to create meaningful change, right? So yes, I may have faults, I may have made mistakes. I do care about you guys. I am, giving it my all, and I really do appreciate this opportunity to be able to serve you guys. And again, if you have any questions for us, you can contact us on either Facebook at Shift SFU. You can also contact me directly at Singh on Facebook. You can also take down my number, because that's totally cool. 604-376-9600. I don't want any prank calls from Inspire, but I will still take it anyways. And thank you guys once again. When it comes to being open and vulnerable, I think it's quite evident that that is something that I'm somewhat good at. And again, you guys are awesome for standing in the code, and I really appreciate this opportunity. Have a great day, and I look forward to hopefully serving you guys with Shift SFU in the upcoming year. Love you guys. Cheers.